Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Bryan's Business World. We're continuing with our series of the lessons that can be learned for entrepreneurs and business leaders from the classics of literature. Now, today we're going to be talking about Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. Now, much has been written much has been written and discussed about this book. It's definitely a classic, and there's many different components to this book to think about, talk about, and learn from. However, for our segment today, we're going to limit our discussion to ownership and how ownership creates creativity and a feeling of loyalty towards something. So for those of you who have not read the book or not familiar with it, essentially, it's a fairly long book, about 900 pages, so it reads very quickly, but definitely a commitment to do so. Great book. A sort of very basic summary would be to say it describes a America in the future where a communist takeover has occurred. So, it's not an instant communist takeover. It's where there is sort of creeping laws and creeping regulations where private property is nationalized systematically over time. And again, it doesn't happen all at once. It's a process over many years. And then what is the fallout of that in American society? And the book tells this story by following a number of entrepreneurs and industrialists and how their ventures are essentially destroyed by this process of creeping socialism. So again, very simplified summary of the book. Great book. Very quick. Well, I would say it's a quick read, but it reads very smoothly and very fast despite its length, and highly recommended. Now, in one of the central themes, I believe, of the book is how once ownership and control is taken from someone for whether it be their artistic works, plays, novels, or their creation of business, enterprises, whatever it may be, once that is taken from people, what happens from that? What's the consequence of that? And that is very heavily, I believe, explored in the book. And in particular here, all of this artwork, real estate, businesses, it all goes to the government. And again, what does that do to the individuals from whom those works and that property has been taken? So talking further about this issue of control and ownership, one thing that's fairly apparent from Atlas Shrugged is that the ownership and control does really allow people to put their heart and soul into certain businesses or artistic works. It really allows a flourishing of creativity, problem solving, and success once they have ownership control. Now let's take that sort of idea and apply it to garden variety employees of a business. Now, garden variety employees of a business may have no ownership or control of the business that they are working at. Now, a lot of books, business books especially, will say, well, you want to have ownership by your employees or buy-in or make them feel part of the venture. So the question that I have for entrepreneurs, or the question that we really should explore, is can employees really have full and committed ownership and control similar to an entrepreneur in a business venture? My answer to that question would be, in a few rare and limited exceptions, yes. Certain employees can feel that they have full control and ownership, and then will pour their heart and soul into it and be creative with that business. But I think for the vast majority of employees, that feeling of full control and ownership really won't exist, and they will not sort of have that level of dedication or creativity regarding the business. Now, is this a bad thing? Not necessarily. I think for business owners, entrepreneurs, business leaders, I think what should be strived for is a feeling of partial ownership. So the employees have a feeling of some ownership. And I think with that, they will do a far better job than just a garden variety employee who feels totally disconnected, and for lack of a better question, disenfranchised from his or her workplace. So I think from just being a pure realist, most employees are never going to bring the level of feeling of ownership and creativity that goes with that to their day-to-day job. I think that's going to be impossible for most employees and for most businesses. I think what entrepreneurs should look to do is give as much feeling of ownership and creativity as is possible, and that an employee who feels they've got some, maybe not total, creativity and ownership of the business will perform much better for you. So again, the takeaway for the entrepreneur here, most employees are never going to have the feeling of ownership and control and creativity and passion that the entrepreneur feels. It's just not going to happen. What you should strive as an entrepreneur is to cultivate as much ownership, creativity, and passion as you can, and be happy with the result that that employees feel some ownership, some partial ownership. And I think you will get some great results from your employees that way. So hope you've enjoyed our segment today. Please follow us, leave some comments below, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.